So we mentioned this last week, but I just want to make sure that we drive this message home because Mother's Day is literally right around the corner. And we know finding the perfect present for your mom is tough, and especially if you don't have the luxury of celebrating Mother's Day together in person. And this is a really weird one for me because it's my first, and my mom is, we're respecting social distancing, so we're not going to be celebrating together. And I know more than anything, parents cherish spending time with their family, and that's why I'm giving my mom the most meaningful gift this year, a chance to connect with loved ones through Storyworth.
And that's a good choice. So this online service helps your loved ones share stories through thought-provoking questions about their memories and personal thoughts. Every week, Storyworth emails your family member different story prompts, questions you really never thought to ask, like what have been some of your life's greatest surprises and what's one of the riskiest things you've ever done.
I love about that is I feel like there's a lot of stories that we haven't heard from our own moms about when they were young moms, or you know what I mean? And I feel like those are really valuable.
Yeah, 100%. Well, we're going to get them through Storyworth. So the coolest part is after 1 year, Storyworth will compile every answer, question, and photo you choose to include into a beautiful keepsake book that's shipped to you for free. My family and yours will treasure this book forever.
For sure. So give your mom the most meaningful gift this year with Storyworth. Get started today, right away, without the need for shipping by going to storyworth.com/adulting. You'll get $10 off your first purchase, and that's storyworth.com/adulting for $10 off.
This is Adulting Like a Mother Father. Thanks for tuning in to learn more. We applaud ya. Now sit back, relax. So baby, keep it pushing while we have a couple laughs and maybe get a little mushy. But don't forget to take a deep breath. Adulting can be hard sometimes. Just take the next step. Pick the right foot up and put in front of the left. You do this over and over and you'll be ahead of the rest. Now let me introduce you to the star of the show, Daniella and Monet. I bet you probably heard her say,
Chicago, Chicago.
Well, now she's all grown up and got a little baby boy. His name is Gio. Dang, what a bundle of joy. We're a tribe of three, but we're building a community, so come along. It's time for some adulting.
Welcome back to Adulting Like a Mother Father.
What up, Mother Fathers?
I'm Daniella Monet, the mother.
And I'm Andrew Gardner, the father.
Happy Cinco de Mayo, everyone.
Ooh, that's a good one.
I know. Gosh, and it's Taco Tuesday. It's all the things on a Tuesday. By the way, if you are in the LA area, Sugar Taco is doing contactless pickup and delivery. So it's a fun day too. And they're doing tequila, beer, wine, all the things. Isn't that crazy?
Dude, nuts.
In what world?
Do yourself a favor and go eat Sugar Taco.
Yeah, if you're in the LA area, of course. So do you have an adulting win and an adulting fail this lovely Tuesday morning?
Ooh, yes, I do. Okay, so if you follow me on Instagram, you might know that I like plants a little bit. I like flowers. I just like the outdoors, right? And I put a lot of love.
You're a gardener.
I'm a gardener in multiple ways. I put a lot of love into my plants.
Okay.
So they make me happy when they're looking tip top. Okay, right now, the white roses are just popping off.
I know.
Okay, so that's my win for sure because it took over a year and a half or something for them to look like this.
I'm glad we hung in there.
And they're killing it right now. So
Beautiful.
I'm very happy about that. My fail hurts my heart a little bit. I feel like over the last week or so, maybe I've just been wrapped up in my own stuff and trying to get some work done or whatever. Been a little obviously I'm here for Gio all the time, but just a little bit more disconnected. And I feel like you've kind of taken over as his number one and it hurts my heart.
You're so silly. I think some of that's in your head.
Maybe.
But yeah, I mean, the truth is you've been working a little bit more recently. And so he's just gravitated more towards me because he doesn't have a choice.
Yeah, I can't accept that though. So this week, my focus will be getting back on track with my main man.
Okay.
And getting back into that number one spot.
Okay. Fair enough. Those are good. My adulting win and fail is personal because I freaking got my period. And I don't know if this is the win or the fail because some people would argue that it's a win because it's healthy to have your period and it's good to flush all that stuff out. But it's a fail for me because it's been over 16 months since I've had it. So I'm relearning the fun symptoms. And right now, if I didn't think my vision was bad before, First of all, if I didn't think my vision was bad before getting pregnant and then it changing during pregnancy and then it changing while breastfeeding and now I'm literally blind while I have my period. I don't know what is up with my hormones and not being able to see, but somehow they're always connected. So that's a bummer. And I'm just more tired. My body's shaking. Are you bored? I wish
Not
that
at
you
all.
could.
I just don't know how to respond to this.
I need you to respond to this.
Proper audience.
I need you to feel me on this level.
I'm sure there's a lot of people that do. The thing is like I can try to understand, but I'll never really understand.
Let me ask you something. Do you think that you could handle being a woman?
No.
Oh, okay. That's a good answer.
No, I don't. I think you guys are pretty magical in many ways. I mean, I've been complaining about a slight headache all morning because my pillows suck. They're the worst pillows on the planet.
Your pillows are my pillows.
So there's two pillows. One either goes down to the size of a piece of paper, like it's that soft, right? There's zero support, and I'm just not about that. But I don't need too much support, and the other one has too much support. The other one is rock hard, okay?
Okay.
There's no in between, and I don't know what to do about this pillow situation right now. If anybody has recommendations on their favorite pillows, please send them through because I need some help right now. And I don't want to go to the store to check out pillows because I just don't think it's the right time for that.
I totally get it.
Do you know what I mean?
And honestly, I don't think that, first of all, it probably isn't a necessity, a pillow. So they're probably not even going to allow you to touch a pillow. Think about it. They're not going to let you touch pillows or rest your head on a pillow.
Yeah, I
That's
hope not.
The epitome of not.
So I need help.
What to do? Wait,
I need help because I need to solve this problem now because I can't keep waking up with my neck kinked into next week.
How about we just go back a step and remember that there is literally blood coming out of me as we speak.
Right. Yeah.
So hope you guys are still listening, by the way. We'll move on from that. Another thing that's on the radar, or on my radar, hopefully your radar, you know it's this weekend, right?
No.
Wait, is it this weekend? Hold on. I should know this.
Oh, yeah, I do.
Is it this
on
weekend?
Sunday. Yeah.
Yeah, what is it?
It's the opposite of Father's Day.
Yeah.
It's technically, I mean, we kind of celebrated last year, if I remember correctly.
What?
At least we made mention of it.
I'm sure we made mention of it.
So this is
I was with child.
Yeah, this is your first official child out of the belly Mother's Day.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's exciting.
I know. I feel like
what are we going to do for it?
I've earned some mama stripes. Yeah, what are we going to do for it? You got to get creative.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's a good time to get creative.
Actually, I'm not going to let anything slip right now because I'm one of those people, like, I'm a procrastinator, so I probably won't think of it until Saturday.
Oh, super. Okay.
But by that point, like, I'll put enough thought into it and I'll still make something special out of it. And it'll be something like you never saw coming.
Listen, let me just make this clear. Yeah, we know. Okay. You're a sly romantic over here. But let me make this clear. I am not one to care much for birthdays. That's pretty much it. Even Christmas. We've never really done like Christmas all that big, except for when you bought me a really nice ring. And you got on one knee. But
we always do. I don't want to toot my own horn here. I'm not a great gift giver, but I like it. For me, it's all about the presentation, and I love giving to people and special people in my life when they don't expect it. I don't like giving when people expect it, like on normal holidays. I don't know why. It's just like, to me, it's like, it's overplayed. We all have too many things anyways. Like, we don't need more things. You know what I mean?
I couldn't agree more.
I like to make it more special. And I like to come from that angle. So that's all I have to share right now.
Okay.
I'm going to try to do that again this Sunday. So
wait. No, I just want to say, like, it doesn't, a gift to me, like.
Can I have some of your coffee?
Oh my gosh. A gift to me is real. It's really special when it comes from you. Okay. So let me make that clear, right? It's really special when it comes from you. It does not ever have to be expensive. And it does not ever have to be, okay, I want to be completely honest because I feel like I'm saying it doesn't have to be expensive, but if it were expensive, I would be blown away and really, I would feel so heartfelt by the generosity, but it doesn't mean that it's any more special just because, no, it does mean that it is more special if it's cost more. I don't know how to like.
Why does it mean it's more special?
Because you work so hard for your money.
Of course, so does everybody.
Right, right.
I'm not, let's set the record straight here. I'm not employed the way I used to be. We're still figuring this whole thing out. Okay. So it's probably not going to be expensive because This is what you do when you fall in that situation, right?
Yeah, and I totally
when you have less,
respect that.
You have to contract. And if you don't have the discipline to do that, then you're going to struggle financially your entire life.
Yeah.
But I learned that discipline. So like when things contract, like I get more frugal. I only buy what I need. I only get us what we need. If I need to get something for you outside of that, like I just make sure I can do it. It's not a problem.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, the last thing that I would ever want is for you to do something that I'd never have to worry about that, because you would never do it unless you really felt like you could. But what I'm saying is that like something about Mother's Day is different from like a birthday or Christmas, because I actually feel like Mother's Day is all of it wrapped in one, because I've never been so proud to be a mom and like put in the effort that I'm so willing to
So do we have to celebrate the other ones then?
I'm dying right now.
It's like a third birthday? Like what?
I swear I'm dying. Okay. It is ish. It's better. What I'm saying is if I had to put them in an order,
Mother's Day is going number one?
Listen, I thought Halloween was number one, and it may now be tied with Mother's Day. That's what I'm
honestly,
saying.
I would end the conversation right here, because that's absurd to me. Like I can't keep having this Halloween conversation. It's irrelevant. Like it's cool to dress up and whatnot. Like it's fine.
I don't even dress up. How weird is that?
You do a little bit.
It's not even about the dress up.
It's a fine day, okay? But it's like way down the list of best days of the year.
For you.
For everybody.
I would like to do a poll on the old IG.
Do it,
Kelly, if you're listening, can you please put a little poll up on the adulting IG?
No, we can do that.
Okay,
Let's
whatever.
Do it. I want to know. I want to know if other people are as crazy.
So
about
what are we going back and forth between? One of them is Halloween and the other is what?
I mean, Christmas is hands down 10 times better than Halloween.
Okay.
That's just one day.
So that's what it is. It's Halloween or Christmas.
Birthdays are special because it's just your day. It's not like everybody's celebrating the same day.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
I don't know. Birthdays are cool. I think the decade birthdays are cool.
A birthday is better than Halloween for sure. Christmas is for sure.
Okay, wait, hold on. I feel like we either move on from this or we dive deeper.
No, let's move on.
Okay, we're moving on.
All right, everyone, sit tight and we'll be right back for some more Adulting Like a Mother Father.
Caldrea, a new friend of the pod, is a consciously crafted home and body care brand that combines thoughtful ingredients and delectable scents, making caring for ourselves and our homes a beautiful experience. Take washing our hands, for instance. It's always been one of the most important things that we need to do, and something we're trying to teach Gio. But it can be mundane and it could be drying. But thankfully, Caldrea's line of hand care products includes both hand soaps and moisturizing lotions that are incredibly effective, thoughtfully formulated, and they smell divine. They're available in indulgent scents like ginger pomelo and basil blue sage, and you'll reach for these products again and again.
Dude, like I keep doing?
Yeah.
Okay, look,
thank you, by the way.
I've always washed my hands a lot, but I never thought I'd wash my hands this much until we had Gio. And now I feel like I'm washing my hands like 37 times a day. So this Caldrea takes washing hands from being almost like a chore to a little luxury during the day. And if you know me, if you've been listening to me, I love a little self-care, right? Yeah. So when you add scents like ginger pomelo. He's doing this
entire ad with a mask on his face. So
yes,
he's
I am.
Adamant about self-care.
Okay, so you add ginger pomelo?
Yeah, I know. I get it.
I'm good. I'm in heaven.
All right. So get free shipping on orders of $50 or more when you buy online at caldrea.com. That's caldrea.com. CALDREA.com. Visit Caldrea and add wonder to your hand washing.
And now back to Adulting Like a Mother Father.
What's next?
Okay, so we have this adulting is template. I just want to give this a shot.
Sure.
All right, so
okay,
hang in there with us. Okay, have some patience. We're going to work this thing out.
Oh my God. Can you do it in your voice?
No, not this time.
Come on.
That's for later.
Okay, fine.
Okay, so
Andrew has a new character that he's been...
But it's not new.
It is new.
Okay. We have this adulting is template on the Instagram, and I want to see what we can do here. I want to try to riff a little bit. So adulting is, the whole premise of this is adulting is fill in the blank. Now in my mind, I go to like the simple, sometimes annoying / just have to be done things that like you start to realize is part of adulting, like once you get into that phase of your life.
Okay, go for it. What is it?
Like adulting is making your bed when you get up in the morning.
So you're not an adult?
To just undo it at the end of the day and get back in it.
Yeah, no, I think it's...
But why do we do that?
Because it looks pretty. And right now, especially, I feel like if you can get yourself to make your bed, then you can get yourself to wake up.
What just flew out of your ear?
I was playing with my earring.
Is that
and
earring
the
or
backing
earwax
fell
that
out.
just made that hard, like, crashing sound as it hit
Here
the table?
is. No, it's my backing. These are the diamond earrings you got me from Sophie and Jake.
Earwax rock do you have in there?
Okay.
Okay, anyways.
So adulting is to make your bed. First of all, does that make us
It's
not...
the whole thing. Making your bed so that you can unmake it at the end of the day.
Understand it. You know what that is? That's for people with time.
No, I think a lot of people would argue differently, actually. A lot of people take that very seriously. They think like making your bed is the very first thing you can control in the morning, and it like sets the tone for the day and like creates discipline. I don't know if I agree with that. I've never been a bed maker. It's not changing.
You met the right person. Actually, I think I used to be more of a bed maker before you. But because you're not a bed maker, I feel like we're becoming one another.
I just don't see the point. Like once in a while, yeah, I like a bed made because it looks enticing. Like it looks delicious.
It automatically looks cleaner.
Yeah, 100%.
That's weird.
100%. Okay, adulting is.
Adulting is getting your period. There you have it. Okay. And then just having to deal with it.
We're going to keep talking about that.
This is all I'm going to say. It is getting it and then having to be an adult while having it.
Yeah. Okay. That's very adult-like.
Because this is my first time having to be a mother and an adult and a partner for the first time while having my period in 16 months. Is that right? Yeah. Right? That's crazy. Okay. Because what I think is going to happen, it'll all mellow out eventually, unless I get pregnant. But what I think is going to happen is the first one is just like it knocks you off your feet, literally. So moving on. That's my adulting is. And yours? Go ahead.
Okay. Adulting is making the food in your cabinet or in your fridge work as long as you possibly can before you go and get new stuff or before you order out.
I like that one. We've been doing that for a long time. We're professionals in this business.
I was born and bred to do that.
I am like I can make lemons out of lemonade. I can make lemonade from lemons.
Okay.
Okay. Adulting
this is taking a weird turn.
We'll do one more each, okay? I'm actually liking this. Can you stop drinking my coffee?
It's got me buzzing
so hard right now. That's an annoying
sound.
That's an annoying sound. Unless you're drinking coffee, whoever's listening, then you know what? Cheers. So, okay, adulting is, I'm looking around the house. Okay. Adulting is what I did the other day. First of all, what I did the other day was so out of character, but I just had to do it. I steamed cleaned the floors. Do you know how laborious that is?
Yeah, that's pretty adult. And you hate, like, I'll share this with them. You hate deep cleaning. You'll do the dishes every day. You'll do laundry every day. You might clean a counter every other day, but you will not do anything past the surface.
One thing that has come out of quarantine is me being a bit of a detail cleaner. I have detailed the stove. Listen, you don't know because you're doing what I don't know what you're doing.
Here
planting
every day with
Okay,
you.
yeah, but you're like outside moving rock like a caveman. Okay, I am cleaning the stove. I am steaming the floors.
I'll give you that.
I am literally derobing the entire couch of all of its outerwear and cleaning. You know what I did? I freaking took the curtains off the curtain rod and I got ballsy.
It was a year
They were
past due.
beautiful linen curtains, and I said, I don't know if you're supposed to put this in the laundry or the wash machine, and I did it.
Did you shrink those like everything else?
Okay, they're a little shrunken, but we needed that because they were puddling a little too dramatically on the floor, and now they're just right. The puddle is just right.
The cleaning and the shrinkage or the hemming or whatever you want to do, that's easily a year past due.
Sure. Well,
I've been
here
asking
we are.
for that for what feels like 7
Okay,
years
well, thank you, quarantine. What I'm saying is, look how beautiful this room looks. It not only looks
it feels
clean,
light and bright.
but it
Beautiful.
is actually very clean.
And it's okay. Look, it's hard to keep a house clean, even when it's just you. But like, we have 2 dogs who don't really know
how to clean up after themselves.
Yeah.
We even taught them that one.
They're always filthy, rolling around on the grass and stuff, and a kid, and like we're dirty. Well, we're not that dirty.
Well, I mean, come on. Speak for yourself.
Okay. Anyway, so adulting.
Wait, what did I just say?
Speak for yourself.
I just said I'm dirty. Well, actually, I'm not the cleanest.
The coffee's
right
hitting
this
a little
moment.
differently today. Okay,
gosh.
adulting is.
This is your last one.
Even though I don't mow the lawn right now,
Where are you going
I did
with
so
this?
much yard work as a kid, right? But I'm gonna pull from that because this is adulting is making sure the lines are perfectly straight.
See, this is
when you mow the lawn.
This is why we balance each other out. Why I was steam cleaning the floors is beyond me, because you love the floor surfaces clean. That should be
I
your
want
job.
carpet just so I can
You should
vacuum
literally no. That's not a reason to have carpet.
Well,
just to vacuum it.
I just like the lines. Like it looks so
Oh
nice
my
when it's
gosh,
clean
we're so
and you got the
different.
lines
Oh my
all
gosh,
going.
we have to get into why we are so different. So listen up, everyone. We have a great guest on the show today. Okay. Sarajane Case. I don't know if you're familiar with her. If you're not, she has an Instagram. Her account's called Enneagram and Coffee, which is really ironic that we're literally buzzing on coffee and we're talking about how different we are. So I made Andrew take the Enneagram test. And I actually why don't we take a break? And then when we come back, we'll dive in with Sarajane and she will basically explain all things Enneagram and how maybe why our numbers attract or don't.
And if you don't know what an Enneagram is, that's reason to stay tuned.
Yeah.
For Sarajane
because
Case.
it could change your life. No big deal. Be right back.
All right, everyone, sit tight and we'll be right back for some more Adulting Like a Mother Father.
So if you guys are fans of our show, hopefully you are if you're listening, you know that we try to take good care of ourselves and we have a busy schedule with Geo and the podcast and all the other projects we're a part of. Okay, but here is something we're really excited to tell you about. We try to take it every day and it helps us stay on top of our game. Super Grapes Soft Chews from Human. These things are so delicious. They are like the quickest little bite of deliciousness that kind of just gives you that boost of energy that you're just needing throughout your day. And there's tons of health benefits too, which blows my mind because they taste like candy.
Yes. Okay. They're packed with hard, healthy grapeseed extract that protects against oxidative stress and promotes normal blood pressure. And they also promote energy efficiency by supporting blood flow. On top of that, unlike with caffeine, right, you've got no jittery feeling, no crashes, just energy the way that nature intended, which is the way that I like it, okay? With antioxidants derived from non-GMO, concentrated, clinically studied grape seed extract.
But more importantly,
go.
They just taste so good. Experience the great tasting, heart healthy boost of new Super Grapes Soft Chews. Get your Super Grapes Soft Chews at supergrapes.com/adulting and get a free 30-day supply with your first purchase. The offer is only available here, exclusive for our listeners. That's supergrapes.com/adulting, supergrapes.com/adulting.
All right, guys, we're back. Here's Adulting Like a Mother Father.
So I'm going to just jump in here because I have a lot of questions. I have a lot of questions for you. I think what you're doing in the account that you run is so informative. So I'm just curious. I'm going to let you lead this one to start. How did you get involved in the Enneagram space?
Yeah, so I have always been really fascinated by human psyche and why people operate the way they do. And prior to finding the Enneagram, I was doing creative consulting, so helping people who were running creative businesses to prevent and recover from creative burnout. And around that time, I found the Enneagram, which helped me to really work with my clients. So once I found the Enneagram, it was kind of like this holy grail of understanding the way that people operate and the way that they think, because you get really into their motivations, their fears. And so all of these behaviors that were holding my clients back, I finally got to the source of why it was happening, which you just really can't make lasting change until you get to the source of why it's happening. So
yeah.
Getting to use that tool with my clients, getting to get to the source so quickly, helped me to make things that would take months, transformation that would take months with them it kind of rapidly started to shift because they were able to really get down to the why. And so because of that result, I was like, I want to go straight to the source. I want to go straight into Enneagram. And I started taking courses and I got certified first through the integrative Enneagram, which is based out of South Africa. They're more business focused. And then now I'm going through the narrative school, which is more just human focused.
Interesting.
Yeah, that's really interesting. So like in your own practice then, where do you find that your work is helping people like in their own lives? Is it in the business environment, or is it in their personal life, their relationships?
Mm-hmm. I would say for me, my zone of genius is really in the area of self-compassion and making lasting change through a compassionate understanding of self. So while the Enneagram is incredibly transformative for relationships, it's just not my area of expertise. I'm much better at like, what's your relationship to yourself like, and how does that impact the way that you make your money?
Okay.
Oh, that's interesting. Okay.
Then I want to jump right in then, because I literally just took.
I made him take the test.
Yeah.
Okay, so I've been trying to get him to take the test for, I don't even know. I think I mentioned it while I was still pregnant. I remember taking the test and I was like, oh my gosh, you have to do this. So he finally took the test, and here's what's so interesting. We're both a 3.
Oh, that's so fun.
But it's not, because I didn't think he'd be a 3. And also, is it possible that I maybe need to retake the test now that I'm postpartum? Because I do feel like mentally I've changed.
Well, so I would be curious for both of you, just if when you read the description of 3, does it 100% resonate with you and make you feel seen in an uncomfortable way?
Interesting. Okay.
No, yeah. See, that's what I wanted to say is I scored a 3, and some of the description is pretty accurate, and then some of it isn't. So I wonder if it's just maybe, this is weird to say, but maybe just not answering questions like 100% truthfully.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I think that what can happen, because the Enneagram is motivation based, we're not always 100% aware of our motivators. So most people mistype. It's very common on a test. So they're usually like 50 to 80% accurate. So it really is about reading the number, and whichever one resonates with you is your type. So, like it'll ask questions like, is it important to help people? And like most of us are going to say yes to that, but there are some people who are driven by that need. And so, you might have answered questions according to what is expected of you in society, and what you think you're supposed to do or be, but it might not really be what's driving you.
Yeah, that's a really good point. Now, when you are having people take this test, would you recommend typically that somebody goes with like their very first instinct or the gut response, or to actually think a little more deeply about it?
Yeah. So I have kind of 2 answers for that. So the first one is, if you are going to take a test, definitely go with your gut instinct. Don't second guess yourself. But I actually don't recommend people take the test. I think it's it's actually less complicated and less confusing to just read the descriptions of the types and see which one makes you the most uncomfortable.
Yeah, that's kind of what I did before getting on this call, as I went through the 3 again on your Instagram. And it all pretty much, for the most part, I'd say I resonated with it. And I thought the one thing that I thought was really interesting on your highlights, which, by the way, your highlights are so well curated and so helpful.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. The one slide that said, this is what happens when you're a 3, a desire to shut down and numb out arises. Mm-hmm. And then it gives, I know. Isn't that interesting? Which is why I don't think you're a 3, because Andrew is a very, very, okay. Just to give you a quick synopsis, our whole relationship, he's been the best communicator you could ever imagine. Okay? I have struggled in that department. When things get hard, I want to numb out. And that is completely me to a T, until recently. And I think quarantine had a lot to do with it, where we both came to a head and realized like, this isn't working the way that it's working. We need to both be really strong communicators. We're spending a lot of time together. We have a child, all the things.
Yeah.
And so I stopped numbing out. And that's what makes me think like there's some sort of major shift happening in me. And maybe I'm no longer a 3 and maybe he is, I don't know.
Yeah. So I can speak to that a little bit if you'd like.
Okay. Yes,
yeah. So for first of all, our type stays the same our whole life. But there's so many different elements of the Enneagram that can impact the way it shows up. So we have these 2 lines that move to and from our number. And one of those lines is our stress number. So it's where we go when we're stressed. So for 3s, that stress move is to 9, which is where that numbing out comes in. Because 9s kind of on a regular basis kind of want to numb out to life and not really interact with the stressful things. So for a 3 in stress, that's going to pop up for you. But 3s kind of run that in waves. So like 3s will have like really intense seasons and then they'll kind of crash. So they'll go really, really hard and then they'll crash for a little while. And it's kind of like forced rest. And then in rest, when you feel comfortable, when you feel safe, when you feel good, you move to type 6, which is the loyalist. You become a lot more community minded and a lot more focused on seeing everybody succeed and kind of wanting to build a community around you.
That feels very true to me. Does that feel true to you?
Yeah, I'd say that.
Wow, this is so interesting. I think I'm just still shocked that we're both 3s because we are so different.
Yeah. Well, I'm curious if I would say if you read the description of 3 and it doesn't 100% resonate, it might not be your number.
Can you be a blend of 2 numbers, or are you one number?
There's wings, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So we actually interact with a lot of numbers. So because we have those 2 numbers that we move to in stress and rest. So I'm going to use 3 as an example. So 3 is interacting with 6 and 9. And then you have the 2 wings on either side of your number. So that's 2 and 4 for the 3. So that's 4 numbers that you're already connected to. Mm-hmm. So if you could be another number and have 3 kind of somewhere in your chart essentially, and have some 3 characteristics, but it not be your driving force.
That's interesting. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. I feel like, and I know I watched one of your highlights where you kind of demythed some of the myths people have around taking the Enneagram test. And I know there's a lot of different sources for that. So maybe it also comes back to, like you said, you probably shouldn't take a test. That's probably not always the best route. You can just look at a number and see if you identify with it. But maybe we go back to the drawing board on this one.
Yeah. And I think like I would push for, what are you most afraid of? Or what do you think you have to be in order to be okay in your life? Like, do you feel like you have to be a good person? Do you have to be loved and lovable? You have to be helpful? Do you have to be successful? Like, we all have this thing we feel like we have to be, and that can really quickly identify our Enneagram type.
Does any of that resonate with you?
Yeah, 100%. I think I need to look at the description of all the numbers and see what resonates most. Yeah.
Really solidified that one for me.
Yeah.
All right, everyone, sit tight and we'll be right back for some more Adulting Like a Mother Father.
All right, guys, Audible. Daniella, you can go ahead and put your mic down. I got this one. Okay. So if you guys haven't heard of Audible yet, I don't want to say this, but I'm going to say it anyways. You might be living under a rock, okay? If you like audiobooks, Audible is a spot for you. I love Audible. I've been using Audible for years now. What I love about it is you go on a subscription. I think it's like $15 a month for me, right? And it gives you a credit every single month. So you know that every month you have something there for you where you can pick from thousands and thousands of titles, anything you want to learn about or to get entertainment from, to get a laugh at, whatever it is, right? Mm-hmm. And what's even better about Audible is they've taken it one step further right now during this sort of funky time, and they've created this thing called Stories, right? They've launched Stories for free. It's going to be free for as long as long as they want, for the foreseeable future. It has all sorts of content curated for families and their kids to go on and pull from for free.
That's
right?
Cool.
So it's stories Let me get it for you. It's stories.audible.com. That's all free content for the family. And then Audible, of course, is, in my mind, the number one place for audiobooks. If you like learning, if you like entertainment, this is the place for you. So visit audible.com/adulting or just text adulting to 500-500. That's text adulting to 500-500.
Bravo.
And now back to Adulting Like a Mother Father.
So I have a question for you that I'm interested in. I know that you're primarily focused on the self-development channel, I guess you could call it. What do you know, or what insight might you be able to provide around how people of the same number or different numbers interact with each other?
Yeah. So I think that the Enneagram gives us this really beautiful insight into why people do what they do. I think that most of us, right, we operate in the world with this one worldview, right? We believe, let's say for type 3s, that like the ultimate goal is to be successful. And we think everybody's on that same road with us and they're all trying to do the same goal. And the Enneagram really opens us up to, hey, there's actually 8 other major motivators in the world that are like creating 9 distinct worldviews. And there's these 9 distinct paths that people are running down. And no one really realizes that everyone's not thinking and operating from the same exact place. So the Enneagram can really open our eyes to noticing like, oh, this person is showing up as angry, but really they're scared. Or this person seems quiet, but they actually feel like no one wants them to speak up. Things like that. So we can get a little bit more information and insight into why people do what they do.
Yeah, that's really cool. I think that's an amazing point that you make, because I think too many of us, or maybe all of us at some point in time, we lose sight of, I guess if you put it simply, like everyone has different desires, and we seem to think that everyone sees the world through the same lens as we do. And when they don't, you can't quite figure it out. So it almost sounds like identifying who you are in terms of your personality type, like before going into a job or before getting into a relationship or starting a family, would be super, super helpful.
This is trying to get you to take the test. Because guess what? We have a kid now.
Yeah. Well, and I think it's like, in relationships especially, and I think at work as well, we can get into this space of like responsibility hot potato, where it's like, no, that's yours. This is your fault. Like, it's not mine.
Oh, yeah.
And what the Enneagram does is it makes it very, very obvious, like whose stuff is what. It's like I can then get insight into what I'm actually seeking through my behavior patterns. So for example, I'm a type 7. So my type needs to be happy all the time. Like I'm very uncomfortable with sadness and pain, or, I have been traditionally in my life. And so if I don't have space for myself to be unhappy, then when my husband's unhappy, my first instinct is to cheer him up, or to help him think positively, or to make him think of like the rose-colored glasses view of the world. And that's actually me not holding space for myself and therefore not being able to hold space for him.
How interesting. That's interesting. Can you quickly just describe what a 7 is? Because I think when I had taken the test, I think I had looked over some of the numbers and I thought you were a 7. I don't remember now.
Let's look it up.
No, can you just tell us a little bit about your number?
Yeah. So the basic fear for 7 is having limitations put on them or being trapped in emotional pain. So we want to avoid emotional pain at all costs. We can do that through escaping. We can do that through reframing. So we can turn a bad experience into a positive experience in our mind. So say my car breaks down, I can say it's actually good that my car broke down, because if my car hadn't broken down, then I never would have met that awesome tow truck guy who turned me on to my new favorite band. You can kind of rework the bad things that happen, turn them into a positive. The other thing, the kind of the creation of a 7 happens because at a young age, they learned that they had to take care of themselves. So if they were going to get their needs met, they were going to have to be the one to meet those needs. So that can create a kind of a fixation on getting what you want, getting what you need, and really wanting to make sure that in life you are ultimately satisfied. Like you feel like you don't have to sacrifice in life, so you can always have the good.
Interesting.
Yeah, I don't know if that totally resonates with me. First of all, I was kind of a mama's boy, so I would say I didn't learn early on that I had to take care of myself. And the reframing bit is really interesting. I feel like I do that.
Yeah, to some degree, I'd say you do that.
Yeah. So long story short, I'm not sure that I'm a 7 to answer your question, Daniella, but I'm going to have to keep reading, and then we're going to land where we're going to land.
I just think it's listen, at the end of the day, like, it's just a very interesting tool to have in your back pocket.
Yeah.
In just any scenario you find yourself like reacting or being emotional or whatever it may be, like I've sort of, I guess I've just used it as a tool to reflect on. Yeah.
Sarajane, question for you. When somebody comes to you, self-help or personal development is pretty general, in my view. Can you give me an example of why and when somebody engages with you to learn more about themselves and what they're ultimately trying to accomplish?
Yeah. So for me, I think the Enneagram is really about repeated patterns of behavior that don't serve you in the long term. So you can start to notice ways in which you consistently self-sabotage. So do you consistently end relationships a little bit too soon? Do you consistently silence your own wants and needs? Do you consistently insert yourself into other people's lives in search of an appreciation? Do you consistently find yourself in fights with other people or arguments with other people where you accidentally hurt their feelings? Whatever it is, you consistently find yourself feeling like you're the outsider in a group of people. We find that we continuously make these same choices over and over again, and that's going to impact your work life, your relationships, your ability to parent, the way that you interact and speak to yourself. And so learning the Enneagram and working with the Enneagram can help you to first notice the patterns, recognize that there is a pattern, and then recognize how to stop that pattern a little bit sooner each time so that you can do less harm to yourself and to others.
I love that.
Yeah, I figured you'd love this. I figured you would love this.
Yeah. It just, it's kind of enlightening to think about being more aware of patterns. Like really, patterns, but getting to the root of those patterns and why you may be doing things that you really never even think about. You just find yourself in the same situation all the time.
Sorry to interrupt, but this is exactly what I think we're doing in our own life right now. Not to self-reflect too much, but it's like, and maybe it has something to do with quarantine. And again, I don't know when this episode's going to air, whether we'll be locked down or not, but I feel like as a whole, do you notice that a lot of people are doing a lot of like introspective work right now?
Yeah. I mean, I think that we have a little bit of time, and we're starting to notice, like, it's like you're being trapped inside with yourself, and it's kind of like this awareness that, okay, whatever is here, I can't preoccupy myself enough to not fixate on it. And I think that depends on your type. Every type's going to be a little bit different, but a lot of types, more assertive numbers, which a 3 and a 7, we're both assertive types. We tend to take action in a way to avoid the way we feel. So we can stay very, very busy and not have to deal with ourselves. And so the quarantine's kind of like this like abrupt halt to where we're being asked to really sit still and notice and really pay attention to what's going on.
So the 3s and 7s then are going through pretty significant life journeys right now.
Probably. And our 8s too. Yeah. If you're an 8 listening.
Yeah. Okay. Interesting. Oh, I found it also interesting. Have you had a lot of people reach out to you specifically now?
Yeah. I mean, I think that it's pretty consistent for me, because I think that it's just swapped types. So for some people who maybe have been on this journey, are a little bit more comfortable with this presence thing, they have been on that journey with me for a little while. But when quarantine happened, those people kind of had to reshift their focus because they're a little bit less comfortable with action or making money and getting their basic needs met. So those people maybe are focusing a little bit more on the harder things right now, like that for them. Whereas people who are typically maybe a little bit more work focused, a little bit more action oriented, are being forced to slow down and therefore become introspective. So I think it's just in a little bit of a flop.
More Adulting Like a Mother Father when we come back.
What's up, Mother Fathers? If you're looking for yet another fun way to pass the time while still engaging your brain and enjoying breathtaking visuals and a gripping story, your answer is the game Best Fiends. Best Fiends is a casual game that anyone can play, but the best part is that you can spend as much time or as little time in it as you want. However, I think I've said this before. Once you start playing, I promise you, you will play for a while.
Andrew's a gamer these days. I respect it. What I think we like most about it is it's just like a unique and exciting puzzle experience. And it's really unlike any other puzzle game out there. Best Fiends updates the game monthly with new levels and events. So it never gets old. That's probably the best part. And you don't need Wi-Fi. And I feel like a lot of people's Wi-Fi is extra slow right now. So that's another plus.
Yes, exactly. So let's just jump to it, right? Engage your brain with fun puzzles and collect tons of cute characters. Trust us, with over 100 million downloads, this 5-star rated mobile puzzle game is a must play. Download Best Fiends free on the Apple App Store or Google Play. That's friends without the R. Best Fiends.
And now back to Adulting Like a Mother Father.
I'm going to flip the script here a little bit for us and put you on the spot. What has learning about your own personality type done for you in your own life?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think that for most of my life, I always had an escape plan. So I always knew that I would be good on my own. And I heard someone say once that 7s are like solo travelers through the universe. So we kind of like pop in and out of people's lives, but we never really feel like we have to stay and commit to them. And so most of my life in every relationship, I had a way out. And the Enneagram has really helped me to understand why that exists, what I'm afraid of, which is limitation, which is having to deal with pain, and has allowed me to understand the importance of staying and the importance of investing in these like deep, intimate relationships. The other thing that has been impacted by understanding the Enneagram and doing work with the Enneagram is just my own ability to access my emotions and to even admit that they're there. Like I typically would want to just focus on the good things and what's here and what's positive. But that, when you can only access one emotion or one tone of emotion, you're missing out on so much depth and so much breadth of life. There's so much life to be lived. And if you can only hit one note, you're missing so much more.
I would agree so much. I think even though those feelings might be uncomfortable for somebody like you naturally, everything else that you could possibly feel is just part of being human. And when you don't touch those different things, you're just not living your human life to the fullest potential.
This is why him and I are so different and so I guess complementary in a lot of ways, but that is something I've struggled with, where I've constantly wanted everything to be sunshine and rainbows. And if there's an issue, I numb out. And he's more like, let's dive into this. Let's go deep. Let's feel it out and let's resolve things and move on.
Yeah. Can I ask you a question about, absolutely. Okay. So do you feel like, that you guys experience emotions differently? Okay. What is it like for you?
That's a good question. I think it depends on the emotion. I tend to internalize a lot, like right away. So I can feel something and it can hit my body like a wave. You may not see anything on my face. You may have no idea that I'm feeling everything I'm feeling internally, but that's how I would handle it initially. And then I moved into, like, as I became an adult, I moved into just wanting to put everything I'm thinking and feeling on the table and talk through that with somebody else.
Mm-hmm. Was that learned?
Yeah, it was.
What, can I ask you more questions? I'm not trying to
No, go ahead.
Okay. Does it, what was the initial thing that kept you from doing that originally?
I don't know for sure, but I think what pops into my head right now is just, growing up as a younger brother and watching my older brother kind of show me how to do everything wrong. And then I got to sit back and just watch it all happen and watch the consequences and whatever, and just kind of shut my mouth and experience it that way. And so I would internalize everything. And then, I went through some stuff in life where my parents split, and that was a whole thing for me to deal with. And I don't know what it was, but I want to say like around in my early 20s, maybe mid 20s, I looked at, I had just gotten into a relationship with Daniella, and I think I was looking at the long term and the only successful experiences or examples that I could pull from where people communicated like that. And I think it's just something I aspired to have. So I pushed myself to get there. So hopefully that explains it. I'm not sure that that's even 100% accurate from my end. Just trying to figure out like why that may be the case, but that's what I got so far.
Yeah. And then what's it like? What is it like for you? Like in, is it a feeling of, I want to be as blunt as possible, as upfront as possible? Or is it like, I want to discuss this logically and rationally and get everything out?
Yeah, it's the logic part.
Okay. Is it really important to you to be informed?
Yes.
Okay. I'm not trying to type you on air.
That is a great question. That's a great question. Yeah, he loves being in the know. He wants to know what I'm thinking, like how the day's going to go.
Yeah. Do you have a strong sense of right and wrong, like black and white?
Yes.
Yeah, I guess so. If she can answer it.
Sorry, no, I don't need to be doing that.
Yeah. Are you pretty hard on yourself? Like,
yes.
Okay. You might want to look into type 1.
Okay.
There's no way for me to know based off of what we just said, but that's just like a rough hunch.
Okay. Type 1's at the top, right?
Yeah. Type 1, they're the perfectionists. They really struggle. Yeah. They're really hard on themselves. They're like a really harsh inner critic. They are really focused on being a good person, doing the right thing. And sometimes that harsh inner critic can bleed out. So onto other people or other things. They really can notice when something could be made better. Kind of like refining.
Yeah, she's literally dancing, cheering. She's so happy over here.
Because I just know him, and he, one of his amazing qualities are that he cares a lot, and he cares to be, like you said, a good person and do the right thing. And he does a lot of work on himself. He's the guy that wakes up and meditates and stretches and is always doing, as much thinking or reading he has time for. So for him to have something that sort of identifies who he is, I would imagine that makes you feel like you're on track of being something. Like you're something.
I am something. I'm a 1.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
No, that's really interesting because, I would say that's pretty damn accurate. So I'll take a look at the full description, and then I'll read the others too, just to be sure. But it's interesting that, I mean, this is what you do, I'm sure, but you can ask a handful of questions and you can get to the root pretty quickly.
Yeah. Well, when you talk, when you're willing to talk out a little bit, it helps. You're pretty vulnerable. Like you were pretty open. it's harder with people who maybe don't want to, aren't as comfortable. As you can tell, you've done some like work, because you're willing to go there.
I guess.
I have like a silly question because I'm just curious, and Andrew's going to love this one. So your handle on Instagram is Enneagram and Coffee. That's also the name of your podcast. What is your favorite go-to coffee?
That's a two-part question. That's a favorite coffee brand and favorite type of coffee drink.
Yeah, how you drink it.
I love that you asked me this because I love coffee almost as much as I love the Enneagram. I can hear the joy in your voice. So my favorite coffee brand is Counterculture.
Oh yeah, good one.
I love their like, they have one called like Boozier Gehendua. It's like boozy. We call it like boozy natural. It's like a sun-dried, really fruity coffee. And I love that as a cappuccino.
Oh, girl, You're speaking our language. And last question, because I'm also just curious. You have a little one, right?
Yeah, I do.
How old?
He is 8 years old.
8 years old. Sweet.
Yeah.
Oh, how sweet. Gosh, you have a lot more years under your belt, but you look like a baby. I'm not going to lie. When I was watching your stories, you look like fresh as a daisy.
Well, so he's my stepson, but I'm actually older than my husband, like by 4 years. And so he's actually like, they had him when they were really young, but,
gotcha.
But I've been in his life since he was teeny tiny. So he does not like for me to call him a stepson, but
that's special. Awesome.
I love that. Okay. One last question, because that's what I do. I always interject with one more after we think we're done.
I knew he'd be into this.
You have all sorts of like really cool information on your Instagram, which people can find in 2 seconds.
Enneagram and Coffee.
Where can they go for like your juiciest stuff?
Mm-hmm. So there's kind of, twofold. The podcast is like where you want to go like a level deeper. If you want to really get like detailed information. And then I have a book called The Honest Enneagram, which walks through my process for how do we work with our number, but all written from a place of deep self-compassion and kindness. I think a lot of times when we go into this work, we can start a real self-shaming journey. And my hope is that the book creates a way to grow with also enhancing your love for the process and yourself.
That's awesome.
I love that.
And I love the way you break things down. Like you do a really good job, like I said, of curating content that's digestible. And for someone who may not know anything about the Enneagram, they can just pop onto your Instagram, get a little taste of it, and then instantly it feels like you're intrigued and want to dive in a little bit deeper. So it's cool that you have all these other avenues as well.
Yeah, I think that I want to be a gateway. Like I want that Instagram to be like this entry point where it feels accessible and fun, and inviting into kind of the deeper good work of the Enneagram.
Yeah, super cool.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Sarajane. We really enjoyed chatting with you. Just a heads up for our listeners, I just subscribed to the podcast, so hopefully everyone else will too.
Yeah, and thank you again for just being so insightful and helping us open up a little bit more about this. I'm sure as soon as we sign off, we'll be doing some homework.
Thank you guys so much for having me. This was so fun.
Of course. Have a good one.
Yeah, you too.
Bye.
Bye.
Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back in a few with more Adulting Like a Mother Father.
Do you guys own or rent your home? Sure you do, and I bet it can be hard work.
You know what's easy? Bundling policies with Geico. Geico makes it easy to bundle your homeowners or renters insurance along with your auto policy.
And it's a good thing, too, because you already have so much to do around your home. Go to geico.com, get a quote, and see how much you could save. It's Geico easy.
That's right. Visit geico.com today. That's geico.com.
Hey, I'm Autumn Calabrese, and I have a question for you. How do you do life? I might be a superstar trainer, but I'm also a boy mom, sister, daughter, friend, and entrepreneur. You might think my life is all working out and cooking healthy, delicious recipes. But trust me, there is so much more to it, and this is it. This is all of those real moments you talk about with your family and friends. Ever wonder what else life has to offer? Bring your curious appetite and let's do life together. Subscribe now at Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and PodcastOne.com.
All right, guys, we're back. Here's Adulting Like a Mother Father.
So how does it feel to be type 1?
Well, we still don't know that I'm type 1 because I haven't done my homework yet. I still need to go and read all the descriptions.
But let's be real. You know, when someone says, prior to even knowing much about Enneagrams, there was literally, I felt like only one.
Only one what?
Don't you feel like someone would be like, oh, I have a A-type, wait, what is it called? A-type personality?
I don't know.
What's the one that's like anal?
I don't know, type A maybe?
Type A.
Yeah, where you like everything like lined up and
Yeah,
structured.
A should be the same as 1.
I am that,
So you're
but I'm
kind of
also
like the
not that.
OG type.
Yeah, is there a type OG? I'll take it.
Oh my God.
So I took the test, as you heard. It said I was a 3. I'm clearly not fully a 3, but she said that there can be a blend.
A wing. Yeah, blend. Yeah, you have like a wing on each side.
Sure.
But
So
a
you
1
can
doesn't
be
have a
several,
wing on one
and
side.
it can be like, it's kind of, what's the word here? It's almost like in liquid form. It moves from one to the other. Like you could be this for that. You could be this tomorrow. Did she say that?
No, once you know your type, she says it doesn't change for your life.
She did say that.
Yeah, so it's just the wings that like you may be
Okay, so you
gravitating
can
more
touch
to.
other things.
Correct.
So-
She said you have a relationship with, I forget how many, it was like X amount of numbers at any given time. Oh my gosh, that dog.
This dog, yeah. Love Sophie. Sophie is our firstborn child.
Always and forever.
But if there's ever something annoying going on, it's her.
Hey, I'll take it. That means it's not you or I.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
We've gotten
Anyways,
somewhere.
so
Okay.
I'm not fully a 3.
You're not a 3
I don't
at
think
all.
I'm fully a 1. But it was super interesting to kind of dive into like my background
Yeah.
and figure out why things might have become more important in my life at this point. Like she was asking questions that were just like unlayering and unlayering and unlayering.
I wish, I honestly feel like you could do a whole therapy session talking about your own Enneagram.
100%. Yeah. I mean, she basically did it for me there.
Yeah, but it wasn't enough. Like as a listener, or at least for me sitting next to you, it was like, I just wanted her to dig.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, maybe next time she'll dig on you.
I feel like I'm like one of those people that someone can size up very quickly. You, on the other hand, I still am like, I want to know more about your past.
It's just because I'm reserved. Like I don't have this like outward facing personality where I give you everything the second that you meet. And that's Sophie scratching at the door. So just sigh, move on. Anyways, yeah, I just don't like, I've never been like that. I don't give anybody everything I have when they first meet me. Like it takes me time to warm up to anybody. Like it doesn't matter who you are. There's definitely situations where I'm more comfortable because somebody can bring that out of me. Or maybe that's just the mood I'm in, but
Like recently?
yeah.
What's
yeah,
happening
what she's
recently with
referring to
Andrew?
Man, okay, in a nutshell, when I was a kid, I felt like I used to be way more goofy, way more fun. Like I was the jokester in the family. I was the jokester between my brother and I. And somewhere along the way, I lost it. And I don't know why. I just feel like maybe I had to serious up for adult life, or thought I did, or for the careers that I went into. And you find yourself like, you don't really feel like that on the inside, but you almost conform to what you think you're supposed to be. And I don't know if that's exactly the reason why, but I definitely have felt like that. And now I feel like because I've stepped away from that type of career, and life is just so different now, and like I just constantly have these reminders of how short life can be, and how much I really just want to grab a hold of it right now while I have it, because you're not even promised tomorrow. I find myself kind of reverting back to my childhood in many ways, and one of those ways is like I'm just trying to be like more lighthearted, joke around more, laugh more. And, I think I have Gio to thank for that, because I want to say, I've said this before on another podcast, I haven't laughed or smiled as much as I have since having Gio around in a long time. And like, it's the coolest thing, that this little being that has no idea that he can even do that for you can do that for you. So that's that.
Yep. I love it.
Are you going to cry?
No, I like looking at you while you talk.
Oh my gosh. I'm almost about to cry.
I'm not about to cry. No, I think I listen, like when you talk, I listen. There's something about your voice that just makes me like hone in. And,
Yes.
and I know when you speak, you're very thoughtful about everything that comes out of your mouth. And so it just lands. I have always looked up to that. And I think that it's a really special quality. But anyways, I really love whatever side you're showing or showcasing recently.
Yeah, it feels
fun.
good to like just like I'm just working on not caring as much.
Oh, that's awesome.
Which is it's a freeing feeling.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why. Somewhere along the way, I always cared so much about what I was presenting and the way people looked at me and felt about me, and it's still important to me. It's like you want people to like you. Everybody wants that.
Mm-hmm.
But I want to care less because why? You know?
Seriously, when you say life is short, I feel that now more than ever. Now that we have something to really measure it by, it's like, how do we have a 7-month-old? It's just not okay.
Let me tell you this: everybody's parents, like everybody who's older than you, is going to tell you that time flies. It flies. With Gio, the first 4 months felt like an eternity because we weren't sleeping, so every day felt so long and just exhausting, right? It was like 24/7 you were doing something. Since he started sleeping, I just feel like time's just gone into light speed.
It's not okay. I understand. Yeah. Anyways, I won't go into the whole like having more kids because I understand why people do it because the baby stage is so fleeting. You think you're going to be in it for the life of your child, and then you realize, wow, how is he almost going to be like 1 in 5 seconds?
Dude, day
like
one, you have this little tiny human that just like lays on its back, doesn't do anything, doesn't even let you know when he's going to poop his pants.
Nothing.
Now we got this kid that sits up and wants to grab things and is like getting up on his knees and his hands now and doing like the Wednesday Humpty Hump. It's crazy. He's eating avocado and whatever else you give him. Like, it's mind blowing.
Oh my gosh. Is there anything else you want to add?
No.
Oh, such a fun little session together.
Yeah, it was. It was nice. You want to do it again next week?
Let's do it again next week.
Keep coming back so that we can do it again next week and the week after that.
Yeah. For anyone who's listening, thank you. We always appreciate your support. And if you happen to enjoy this episode, please let us know by giving us a review on iTunes, Apple Podcasts. You can give us some stars. You can even write something and share what your thoughts are. So I will shut up now.
That's a very like simplified way. That's like what a comedian would do. Just break something down into a very simple explanation. So when
I don't want it to be difficult.
Apple Podcast to give us a review, you're just going to give us some stars and then you're going to write something.
There's a choice. You could do the stars. You don't have to write something.
So, but the choice, you have to do the stars, right?
You don't. Do you have to? I don't think you have to.
I don't think you can leave a review without doing the stars.
So it's either you can give us.
We're losing stars as we speak.
Oh man! All right, guys. Well, we'll see you next week, and we love you. Stay safe.